I knew it was coming, but I still wasn't prepared for it.
What's up, guys?
Sure. What are you, brother?
I'm an alpaca.
Yeah, of course you are. Okay. Duh.
Is that easy to find? Are alpaca masks easy to find?
No. It was the first one I got looked like a Halloween costume, and my wife told me I needed a new one immediately. So I found this
Classic
one.
wife move. You can do better with your alpaca.
Yeah, she was like, "You look too
Level up.
scary."
Nice, man. So you're the founder of OverHerd, which is an anonymous social network with 250K MAUs and 100K MRR. And I think largely flying under the radar crypto Twitter. So really excited to chat today. So you were part of the early Yik Yak team, which was one of the first anonymous social networks that I think had millions of MAUs back in like 2014 or something. I remember it from my
2014.
my late
Jesus.
university days. But I'm curious.
Right.
I'm curious what I guess ultimately happened there, and then what from that experience gave you conviction to build another anonymous social network.
Sure. So yeah, that was it's my claim to fame in the entrepreneurship world is like building that with a number of other folks, and had millions of daily active users with that. Was a top app in the App Store, and extremely viral on college campuses. Where ultimately it fell short was like long tail user retention. Is 100% anonymous platforms are a bit challenging, I believe, to retain users because I think people use social apps for two reasons. It's either personal gain or personal relationships. And when you're anonymous, both of those are near impossible. So the approach here is taking a lot of the fundamentals that we learned from that back in the day, but applying a monetization layer to it where users can actually receive personal gain, which the thesis here is that that'll solve the long tail retention hook for normies on college campuses and across the world.
All right. So you might as well break down what is the OverHerd product today.
Sure. So OverHerd is a location-based anonymous network where users can post wherever they want, whatever on the top of their mind, 100% anonymously to people near them. People can then open up the feed, see that, no follower count, no nothing, just avatars generated at the time of the post. Every single view a post gets, users are compensated based off advertisers bidding on the post itself. So in population dense areas, people are making like $20 a post if it's in the top of the feed. If there's no one near you, you're not making that much yet, just because the advertisers and the viewers are not there.
Bearish my small town location here.
Yeah, so it's a lot of bigger cities in the US do have population density of users, but where I personally live in the mountains, there is very few users, just a couple. So I'm not earning much on my posts.
Can you maybe go a little deeper into how the ad network works, maybe from the advertiser side, and then how that flows into rewards for users? Because I think you mentioned you're delivering like 500,000 ad impressions a day for people who are advertising there right now.
Correct. Yeah, more than that right now, actually. So we're serving close to 1 million impressions a day to our user base. And so how that works is we maintain a couple direct relationships with brands, but the majority of them are served through programmatic ad networks that basically just want consumers to view their content. And that's just a business model that's been as old as time. Is like brands want visibility, and they're willing to get in front of people that have a funded wallet in our case. So anytime someone clicks on a post, similar to you clicking on a tweet or something, there'd be a banner ad served across that post. The money that the advertiser is paying for those eyeballs then flows to the creator of that content. So it's a one-for-one like revenue split essentially. So advertisers come in, they post has tons of views, tons of engagement. The user who generated that buzz is now compensated from that.
Interesting. Okay, so I mean, 1 million impressions. Clearly, there's some people using this app, and I think social products generally are just very hard to bootstrap and bring to market. And I'm assuming that the anonymous ones have an extra spiciness to it as well. So I'm curious how you approach the 0 to 1 phase. Like, what were the tactics you used, and yeah, how?
Sure. So anonymous is one of the reasons we went for this medium. Is it has a viral coefficient just built into it because the content vertical is like very spicy. People will say whatever they want. So it can create a little bit of chaos in a good way. And it's one of your biggest growth factors. But in order to get that like viral spread on its own, you need your initial user base. And we're building a crypto product. We're building on crypto rails, I guess, but we're not necessarily building a crypto product. So our target audience was not CT to start. It was really much normies that don't even know what crypto is or whatnot. And we found out that we really attracted normies when a lot of our users asked, what is USDC? Because that's what we pay our users in. They thought it was some sort of point system. And we're like, wow, I really am living in a bubble. But how we acquired them initially was TikTok. So using pretty traditional like Web 2 growth strategies, as the entire team's background is Web 2 consumer, leverage a variety of like UGC organic, faceless content, and then also paid distribution with influencers. So we would find essentially winning content verticals and then scale them up depending on if they worked or not. So our initial user base we launched in Brazil as well as Indonesia, as they were cheaper to acquire users, and it allowed us to like test the product to prove the model out before we scaled them to more expensive markets.
Got it. I'm curious what types of content are kind of getting the most fit or upvotes or kind of creation today.
Sure. So it really comes down to the market because it's curated by the culture of the audience there. So in Indonesia, it's very short-winded, direct things about just like people being annoyed, honestly, in general. And in Brazil, it's our second largest user base. The content there is very spicy, like not safe for work spicy, but you get some good laughs from it. And it's enjoyable. The US content is also similar to that. So it's more chaotic and whatnot. And then today we recently launched a new feature to some of our user base that's like called herds, which you can think of it as subreddit. So people will then be able to filter discussions around specific interest groups. And then the owners of the herds will then receive all revenue from the communities that they curate.
Interesting. So I'm reading here that you've had daily revenue records for the last 15 straight days. So what is driving this persistent growth?
Sure. So our daily active user base is increasing every single day, and as well as time spent on application. So the combination of those two metrics increase ad impressions, which then drives up the money that we make. So the advertisers are basically bidding, let's say, a fixed CPM of anywhere between $3 to $4, depending on the region of the world they want distribution in. So the more eyeballs that we bring them, the more money we're getting paid, and the more money that we're actually passing back to our user base. So it's a really nice flywheel that's funneling in there.
I'm curious if you feel like this hypothesis you started with, where the long tail retention and using USDC or kind of payment rewards to hack that is valid, if it feels validated at this point, or if there's still a bunch more work to do to get
there. The metrics are very promising right now. So the biggest thing that we need to fix right now is education and like off ramping a USDC to users so it's actually spendable. Is the number one complaint we get is like, what is this? How do I use it? What is the blockchain? What's base for say versus ETH? And it's very challenging to explain that to users. So we have a lot of just stale money in user wallets, and we want them to actually be able to spend it. So we're working on some solutions to streamline that UX even more, to validate, I think, that thesis. But yeah, things are looking good. Like our day 7 retention is incredible. And it's hopefully only going to get better as the product improves.
So I'm curious, I think that on-ramping, off-ramping have been some of the consistent challenges in crypto products forever. What are the sort of solutions you see to that, especially given that you're in so many different markets?
Yep. So the thing that we're working on right now, like we haven't told anyone, but it's not really that much alpha, but we're building like a digital card solution within the application. So users, when they claim their USDC weekly, it'll then go directly to a digital card that they can spend in stores. So they will have to KYC for that, but it's not learning what chain to send it to what exchange, but it's just like, oh, here's this thing in my Apple wallet. Now I can spend it at any merchant.
I just love how consistent this idea of like gift cards or prepaid cards as off-ramping have been in the history of the internet. Like those marketplaces were such a big thing back in the early days of the internet, and here we are again.
Yeah, it just streamlines it, I think, for users. Like crypto gift cards are great, but they're not spendable anywhere. Just giving someone a digital card, especially if they're earning like $10 a day, it's like, oh, that pays for my family's lunch, depending on where you are in the world.
Yeah.
I'm curious what your view is on the future of Web3 social, because I imagine you have a non-consensus perspective here based on how you're operating.
100%. So Web3 social to date has all been very speculative driven, and essentially, in my opinion, a DEX wrapped around social. And it's just another way to skin DeFi, which when you're doing that, you're basically paywalling all new users up front, which really prevents exponential growth long tail. We believe it should be fun first, finance second, and a free to use product where we're taking money from big brands that are willing to pay to users to compensate anyone. Where all existing attempts, only the KOLs are truly the winners.
KOLs are the winners.
Sad world.
We're the everyone product is what we think about. It's like we don't want to take away from our users. We want to give to the users that give to us, which they're giving us content, and we're taking money from brands that are willing to pay for that eyeballs on that content and passing it back to them.
So did I hear right that you're sort of plugging into existing ad networks right now, or is this like a purpose-built sort of advertising product that you're creating here?
We're currently plugged into existing ad networks, and then we have the ability to sell like direct ads. So like if 11 a.m. wanted to sell ad space or pay for distribution on our product, we could offer that. But majority of it is all programmatic driven, considering we're like a extremely small team. We don't have anyone actively selling ads, but that's like the next phase of growth is like building out an ad sales team to drive bigger ad deals and then flow more money back to our users.
Do you see there being a novel advertising product here that sort of is able to do something that existing products don't do? It seems like that might be a core part. I mean, if we look at the value of some of the biggest breakout social networks, they have come alongside these sort of innovations in advertising.
Yes, I think there's like two major opportunities there, like long tail from revenue, whether it's like our own internal advertising product, in addition to like users being compensated for their data that's then sold to LLMs and research providers. Like if you look at Reddit right now, that's a massive revenue stream for them, is taking content from users that's pseudo-anonymous and then selling it to OpenAI, et cetera. We have that same ability, but we can pass it back to the users here in a decentralized way.
Interesting.
So those are like two long tail, like big revenue opportunities for us because users own their content in our platform where they don't in everyone else's.
I'm curious as you think about getting more, maybe increasing local density. Like I think a lot of the value of Yik Yak was everyone in a single high school using the product, and I think the weird kind of social stuff that emerges from that. Like, do you have? I guess I'm thinking about Nikita Beer, kind of hit some of his tactics to get TBH out, where they targeted specific high schools on Instagram and kind of all that stuff. Like, do you think you can just kind of scale this thing through TikTok like you are now, or do you think you need to go more kind of low level, kind of grassroots stuff?
So we're doing both right now, actually. So we kicked off our US go to market as school resumed like a week ago. So we're pretty active in a number of colleges in the Southeast right now. Alabama, UCF are the two. And we're basically testing an on the ground strategy there to start before repeating it. Like as a growth marketer, I'm a massive believer in trying lots of things and scaling what works. Is when we did this with Yik Yak back in the day, it was a very boots on the ground strategy. And that was 10 years ago. So it's like, will the same things work? I think so, but it's to be proven and tested.
So what does that look like? Is that just an alpaca mask walking around campus?
Handing out USDC where people are like, what the fuck is this?
It's essentially sorority girls being compensated.
That makes sense.
And using it as a medium on campus. So
classic. All right, man. I mean, fascinating. This is not a product that was on my radar, but it seems like you guys are killing it. So definitely one to watch. I mean, it doesn't look like I'm going to be earning a ton here, given my town has maybe 10,000 people in it. But
no shot.
I can be number one of 10,000. Maybe it's worthwhile just for the credibility alone.
Yeah. If you go to New York, if you're ever there for any reason, it is pretty active there. So people there are making top posts in the area like $5 a day. So that'll pay for a coffee, maybe half of one.
Half a coffee. Awesome, Sherpa. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today, and best of luck as you go take over the world.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Peace, man.